Well, I have sad news, Jonathan. It is going to be the last episode of this session. It's been insane. It's been an insane session. As exemplified by Blake's play at the end of the last episode, he was just kind of going nuts there with the calls for a second.
Well, I mean, I think the very last two hands of last episode, he made two huge calls, both incorrectly, lost a lot of money.
Yeah, I guess that's just going to happen sometimes. That's just what goes on. But there's still a lot of money on the table. There's still another episode to go. I'm excited to see how it plays out.
I mean, we've seen so many chips fly around. This is the best cash game we've ever had, I really believe, and I'm sorry to see it go. They say all good things must come to an end, and apparently even all great things, because this cash game is the greatest thing we've ever done on Poker Time, Grant. The greatest.
Wow. Hyperbole? A little bit?
I don't think so, bruh. I don't think so at all. This is the greatest thing we've ever done. This is an incredible session. Sally, this is the last episode of this session.
Did you just call me Sally?
I wish I did. What did I call you?
Well,
sadly. I said
think you
sadly.
said sadly, but you didn't even say the D.
Who needs to do that? That's for people who work.
We're going to try to get Marty back because that guy is...
I think we should get
good
everybody
action.
back. Can we just have this table forever?
Hank included, under the gun. That could be anything. It could be anything, Jonathan.
It's 10 deuce.
Okay.
It's suited. Hey, come on, it's suited.
Is the official Doyle, by the way. The 10 deuce of spades is the official Doyle.
Oh, really? Well,
Terminator's going to bump it up. Not going to let it happen. Although Hank is going to call.
Yes, he is.
Not when Wonka 4 bets, or 3 bets, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, Wonka's going to put some more money in here for sure.
No, he just calls.
Wow.
That is such a surprise, especially at this table.
I don't understand. What is he? He really wants Hank and Marty in there, I guess.
I guess, but, I mean, this table is so loose.
This seems crazy to me. I mean, you could argue he's protecting his calling range, but there's no reason to do that at this table, and there's no reason to do it with this many players out of position against all of them.
We don't know what Terminator has here.
I will say this. If you do this once in a blue moon, it really is going to throw people off forever.
That is true. That's true.
I just don't know if you need to do it as Wonka.
And there's the flop that Wonka doesn't want to see.
Well, he can look at it as he saved money if he's just going to check fold.
That's true, because if Terminator has an ace, which...
We don't know.
We don't know, but he could. We didn't see any aces folded, and nobody else has an ace, so it makes it slightly more likely.
Yeah.
He also did raise. Doesn't mean that much from Terminator, but it can mean an ace.
He can have one.
So I think Wonka might just fold here because there are definitely aces in the ranges of the players behind him as well.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a fold. He does have the king of diamonds.
Look at him. He's so sad.
It's like, well, I don't know if I played that right. And are we going to get to find out what Terminator had? Nope. We'll never know. Is he going to show an ace, make everyone's life a little easier? Nope. Well, now we know what it's like to be everyone else at the table, huh? Instead of omnipotent.
Yeah.
Like we often are on this show. Just don't know. But I think you have to fold those kings there.
Yep.
And maybe again Wonka can say to himself, well, I 4-bet or 3-bet, I guess, to 175. I get called by Terminator. It comes ace high, and I just lose a bigger pot. I just lose a lot more money.
That might have been what happened, very reasonably.
I mean, it's hard to know. Maybe Wonka gets to win anyway, but it only cost him 40 extra bucks. That's the way I think you should look at it, since that's what happened.
Yep.
Joseph somehow showing real standards there, getting rid of the king deuce off at this table. That's crazy.
Joseph always shows standards.
Indeed, he does.
He is our tightest player, probably.
It's between him and the digital one, anyway.
I think Joseph's tighter. Sometimes Digital Dan gets bored and limps 4-5 off,
That is a good point. Actually, Wonka's pretty tight, too.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe Joseph's the tightest. Hey, look at this.
Hank's got a real hand. It's time to show some aggression. Looks like he's going to.
He says, hey now, and raises that puppy up.
Wow, that was a horrible sentence.
135. It's a reference. Don't worry about it. It's a cultural reference. No need to freak out on me. But you don't know what it's a reference to, do you? Because you're 4 years old.
About puppies?
Close enough. Larry Sanders Show.
Is it about Beethoven's second?
Whoa. So Marty called.
Yeah, of course.
That just happened.
Blake, reasonable call at this point.
I mean, yeah, barely. Barely
come
reasonable.
on. It's totally reasonable at this point.
He put in 35. He just called another 100. He's got jack.
Because Marty called.
Well, that does help.
He was getting a great price.
Terminator calls with the 8-7 off. I mean, sure.
Suited would be a little better.
Sure. It's a pretty good flop there for Hank.
It is slightly dangerous, though, because if any of these guys have a 9, which clearly is in their ranges.
Oh, yeah. They all have 9s.
Hank might go broke to them with the way Hank plays and values hands.
Yep. It wouldn't be unreasonable to check here, although not having the king of diamonds in your hand makes you, I think, you're a little more apt to want to just bet right away.
You want to
for
protect
value.
against the diamonds, and other people can easily have an ace in their hand.
Exactly. You get value from diamonds and all the aces, and yeah, you lose to a 9, but you're going to lose a lot of money to a 9 either way.
I think that sizing was pretty big. I don't know if he's actually going to get value. Well, from these guys, maybe an ace will call no matter what. But
How much
Hank,
did he bet?
He bet pot.
Yeah, that's pretty big. I mean, I think ace a good ace is going to call at least once, right?
Yeah, ace jack's going to have to call once.
I think so, even though, man, you don't like it.
You might be able to get more money over time by betting 300 there and more later.
But if they've been paying attention to Hank, though, Hank bets big a lot. So I think you have to call with ace jack at least once. Maybe even other aces once.
That's true.
Got to hold on once. So maybe Hank gets value from all the aces, and I think what he's really trying to do there is just bet out the diamonds. Here's Action Era, not really living up to his nomenclature. Nope, his moniker. That's better.
Marty's on his left. That changes things for him.
It really does. This is such a nutty table. I don't blame Action Aaron for being a little less action-oriented.
All right, is Wonka going to 3-bet here or just call? Against these players, it's an interesting decision. Looks like a call.
It is a call. It's reasonable to call, but it's very reasonable to 3-bet also. Ace-Jack doesn't play super well multi-way, but he just has such a range advantage over the table. Even just by calling here and he gets to be in position, it's not crazy.
Marty, of course, getting in there with the 8-5. Marty likes to play poker.
He's got an 8 and a 5, in fairness to him. And the 8 would be good if he hits it and if no one else hits anything.
That's a good point.
There's an 8. Oh, but it was close.
Terminator flops best here.
Wonka with the double gutter.
Yeah.
Terminator. Oh, actually, Wonka has the backdoor, the best backdoor flush draw, though all these guys have a backdoor flush draw, too.
Yeah, Wonka probably doesn't know it's the best one.
No.
Terminator's going to bet it. That's reasonable.
Wonka's
I
gonna
imagine Wonka will call, maybe raise, but probably just call.
Probably just call with all these guys in.
He's considering a raise. I know that look.
Yeah. He often likes to announce raise before he actually does it.
It's a pretty big bet.
No,
Wonka.
How can you just fold?
Does he not realize it's a double gutter? Did he think it's just a gut shot? Is that possible?
No, I don't think it's that. My guess is that he thinks things like there's 2 clubs on there, so a club is a problem, and he thinks if a 9 comes, it's hard to get money, so really only a king gets him paid.
That doesn't
matter.
matter.
King of 9 clubs. No, against this group, I'm really surprised he folded.
I think that's
what a turn card for Marty.
Must be the worst mistake I've seen Wonka make for a long time.
Feels like a mistake.
Although, I mean, he would have lost the pot, so maybe he's...
hold on, it's check. He hasn't lost the pot yet.
Oh,
he would have won the
he
pot.
would have made...
He would have gone check on the turn, and he would have won.
He would have made a good hand on the river.
Marty checks again. That was a good try by Marty, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think Terminator was necessarily going to call a river bet.
Well,
against Marty, he might...
Terminator was going to call a river bet.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if that's actually a good check by Marty, actually. Marty should probably bet the river. But I guess it looks like Terminator doesn't have anything, so you're hoping he hit the king. Of course, if he hit the king, you can bet. He'll call.
Yeah.
You can pick the size yourself.
You could have king jack there pretty easily.
Is Marty going for a check raise on the river?
I don't know if there's any profit in that.
Really tough to get value out of a check raise there, unless Terminator has a huge hand that he decided to check back on the turn. I guess he could have king-queen, and he would consider calling a check raise. But that's like it, right?
Yeah. I wonder how Wonka's feeling right now.
Bad is my guess, but we can't see. We're looking at that beautiful Dash Digital Cash felt.
Making us all soothed and calm with the blueness.
Exactly. That's what it's there for. Looks like Marty's going to call with his entire range under the gun.
Yeah.
And that's represented by 2 blank cards.
Terminator also with a big range here with his 2 blank cards. Hank with Jack 4 suited. At least we know what cards he has.
At least he's on the button and he's suited.
He is on the button and suited.
I don't completely hate this.
Marty's got 5 deuce off, by the way.
I think it's fine. Oh, hey.
Actually, Aaron has 8 deuce off, but he was forced to play the hand.
Yeah.
And we've got...
Is it Marty with the...
It looks like Marty's got the best hand, unless Joseph has a better hand.
Yeah. Marty's going to bet his middle pair.
Overbet the pot.
Yep. That is probably going to do it unless Joseph has something. Hank? No.
He's got 2 back doors.
Put the chips down, Hank. He does have 2 back doors, but...
He doesn't like folding, Hank.
Marty's going to make it tough to even get there. Marty's going to bet big on the turn a lot.
Yes, he is.
I think you probably just got to let that one go. Marty shows the deuce.
Being at a table full of guys who really don't like folding can be very frustrating if you're not making any hands.
Yeah.
It feels like Shangri-La if you are making hands, but if you're not making any hands, you're just like, how can I make money at poker?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to hang in there, basically, and wait your turn.
Yep.
But, if they're not going to fold, there will be, a rainbow at the end of that pot of gold.
I mean, it might not be the session you're in, though. That's the thing that sucks. And what if this table breaks and the session never comes together again,
I mean, this very well may be true for Wonka when he missed out on that by folding there. By the way, Blake with the blind raised to 25. Got the old queen 6 off, but at least he didn't know it before he did it.
Well, it gets raised immediately by Terminator. The 75.
Terminator apparently has terminated the RFID reader.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
fair enough.
The metallic blood, you know. Is that what Terminators have?
I think it's nanobots, but whatevs.
For the sake of the layman, we'll call it metallic blood.
Yeah. Now Blake really doesn't have to call this with the queen 6.
He doesn't, although the raise isn't that big. He decides to call.
He is getting a great price, but he does have a bad hand.
Queen 6 off is one of those hands you really don't want to be playing too often. That's true.
And Terminator did raise under the gun, or effectively under the gun.
Well, nothing there for Blake.
2 back doors. And then Terminator checks it right back.
That's good news.
Fair enough.
Hey, we hit a queen.
Wow.
All right, so we're ahead most of the time as Blake. Do you think we should bet?
Yeah, I like betting.
Terminator calls a lot with a lot of things.
He sure does.
It's a big bet. He bets 150.
Wow, into 165. I'm not sure why we're doing that. We're entering, potentially folding out too many worse hands and only getting called by a better hand type
Terminator
spot.
doesn't like to believe, so if Terminator is in his non-believey mode, he might decide a bigger bet means less value.
It's true. It's true.
And he does make the call. I imagine Blake's ahead here.
Blake should be ahead a lot. I mean, Terminator's just going to call with all his queens, I think.
The diamonds come in on the river. Terminator could easily have diamonds here.
Blake bets again.
Wow. Okay. What is he trying to get value from here? 8-9 or something?
I think it's maybe better to check and like King 10 fire away.
Yeah.
And also, like, if Terminator has a queen, that queen is going to play. The kicker's going to play.
Ooh,
It looks like he's
looks like we're
reaching
getting
for-
raised. We cannot call this raise.
No, this is...
Terminator has diamonds so frequently here, right? Like, the way he played this hand looks so much like diamonds.
If you think about the value hands that we have, I know Blake's reaching, but you think about the value hands that he has, this is among the worst value hands he's ever going to show up with here. I can't really imagine he's going to find a call. Wait a second.
He makes the call.
He does call. Terminator... Wait. He
Terminator
throws it
just
away.
mucks. Wow.
Amazing.
Now, that call was correct in that moment, but I don't think it's correct over time. I'm not sure.
How often have we seen Terminator raise the river and not have anything?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I've ever seen it. We've seen him in almost every show we've ever done.
And that was genuinely a great representation of a flush.
Yeah, he checked back, he called, and then he raised. It really looks like a flush.
Yeah.
Wow. Blake. Maybe Blake just had a physical read on him.
That's possible.
That's a reason to call.
They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
Maybe he has different pheromones when he's bluffing.
That is it's a good way to win.
Yeah. That's poker according to Dr. Joyce Brothers.
Dr. Joyce Brothers,
Yeah.
really? Pheromones?
Yeah.
You haven't seen a lot of Dr. Joyce Brothers, I guess.
You don't think she talks about pheromones?
I don't think she does. Sorry.
You didn't get the collector's edition set.
I have not. No, I don't have with all the extras.
Yeah.
It's true. Just the regular edition. So maybe that's on me. Anyway, Terminator raises again.
I'm going to try to get that money back. I am genuinely a little surprised Blake found a call there, and then more surprised that it was correct.
Yeah. Marty's got ace-king, and he's going to put in a re-raise. That's completely reasonable. Action Aaron called for 45, and he's only got 600 behind, so...
I imagine Marty's just going to go with it against Action Aaron.
Of course. He threw it to 205. I mean, it'd be insane not to, really.
Terminator is going to call.
If you're Marty, you're praying Action Aaron shove so you can reshove, but instead Aaron gets out of the way.
We have Aaron's stack incorrect. I can see it right there.
Correct.
I think he has 1,000 more than it says.
Yeah. Okay, well, then that changes things. Anyway. All right.
Very good flop for Marty. He checks quickly. I kind of like that play.
I think he should be betting.
I kind of like checking against Terminator when Terminator just lost a massive pot. Terminator's entire range might fold, but bet. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, but we're Marty. We bet everything all the time.
I don't think that is as important as the situation with Terminator right now, having just bluffed off in a massive pot.
I don't know that I agree with you, but I hear what you're saying. It's not crazy.
Marty with the check call. I like how Marty's playing this hand. You may disagree.
That's a pretty safe card for Marty for sure.
Unless Terminator has ace queen, which is unlikely. We block it.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I think we're just gonna have to pay off.
It goes
ace queen.
check here.
Okay. Yeah.
Spade
And
should be an action killer.
This is another reason why I think as Marty we want to be betting from the get-go. We get 2 streets instead of 1.
Terminator,
more often.
I think, was probably bluffing and just took one shot and gave up there.
Yep. He could have had like a pocket pair also that he decided to bet once and then just wants to get to showdown.
That's a couple big pots in a row that Terminator's lost there.
Yep.
Nice hand, Marty.
Yeah, really, there's so many action killing cards that can come on turn and river on an ace 3-5-2 spade board. Just problematic to really get paid when you're out of position, I think. That's the one consideration you have to have. I hear that there's this other emotional thing you think maybe going on with Terminator, which
and I think that
counterbalance that.
That should weigh larger in that scenario right there, right after the hand happened.
All right. So,
because I think Terminator has a bunch of 9 highs in his range that he's going to fold if Marty c-bets, and he's going to bet if Marty checks.
I mean, that's good. That part's good. Digital Dan going to limp with the Queen Jack because why would you do anything else with Queen Jack, huh?
Because
you want to take it to the fair. You don't want to, put a ring on its finger. You know what I'm saying?
Well put. Hank's going to raise 2 7s because he wants to marry them.
Hey,
according to you, your logic.
I mean, I don't know that he wants to marry them, but he's at least showing a strong intention.
Right.
Towards,
They've been together long enough. It's starting to become awkward.
Yeah, cohabitation at least. When people are just like, you're out at brunch, and people are like, so what's happening with you two? Is this going to happen? And it's like, really? We're talking about this publicly?
One too many times with Hank and the 2 7s.
So here he goes. He made it 70. All right, by the way, there's a million people in this hand.
Yeah.
Including the 10-9 offsuit, the ace-7 offsuit.
All the usual suspects.
Yep. And Digital Dan joins them.
Yep.
9-6-6. Somehow misses everybody.
Hank has the best hand. No, he doesn't. Marty has the best hand.
Almost everybody. My bad. Marty also pretty good spot here on the button with this hand.
Blake is going to lead.
Whoa, into 5 players. Well, he has the 3rd best hand.
That is ambitious.
It's a relatively sizable bet.
210 into 350.
I guess it's a reasonable bet. That's just reasonable.
He's just trying to fold out overcards, and Hank calling looks like he's going to do it. That's also somewhat ambitious.
It is ambitious for sure. Marty now.
Marty is in a weird spot, but I think he's going to call just knowing Marty.
I mean, he probably should call at least once, although it does suck to have Hank calling first.
I mean, if I'm Blake here, I usually have a 6. But
yeah,
I guess Blake bets a lot for protection.
I assume you'd have a 6, or you'd have like 7-8 or 10-8 or something like that.
Yeah, those are the types of hands.
Yeah, Marty is definitely not folding. It seems.
Is he raising?
Well, he's reaching for chips. I don't know if he's actually gonna. It
looks like a call, right? No, it's a raise.
That's a raise. Is it a click back?
He did click it back.
Whoa!
This is an absurd pot. What's going on here?
He clicks back with no kicker, and he's got the best hand. How does he know? Jedi.
I mean, he's kind of dressed like a Jedi.
He is. That's what Except for that,
like a 1990s Jedi that you might find at an Offspring concert.
Like if the Back to the Future Part 2, where everything went horribly bad after Biff, got the almanac. That's where Marty's from.
The Jedi are just,
This is as easy
poker.
as a fold as I think it gets for Blake here. Like Hank called behind. Hank's got you beat, let alone Marty.
Well,
Marty can have a 6.
Blake might. Oh, he's making the call.
He's getting a good price.
Now Blake has to know he's behind here. I think he might be thinking about making a move, or else I don't know what he's thinking.
If he's gonna make a move, why wouldn't he make a move right away? Why is he letting Hank stick around and get more committed to this pot? Look how big this pot is.
Hank's gonna make the call too.
Wow. I mean, I never would think Hank would actually have called.
How is there 1.6K in the pot with these hands?
I don't know, but Blake has almost 1-to-1 stack to pot, which is why I thought he might move in if he's going to make a play, not do it this way. I don't know how this is supposed to work.
Well, Hank is now open-ended.
Whoa. Wow, Marty picks up a gutter, although it would be no good if the 7 actually were to come in. Can anyone bet this? No one can bet this, right?
I don't think you can.
This has to check through. Hank sees the fact that he's open-ended. Oh, my goodness, no. I can't imagine.
I think he verbalized check.
Okay, yeah.
Look, Marty's reaching. Marty's going to bet.
What? It's a big... Oh, that's not...
No,
well, that's actually a pretty small bet. That's a small bet.
Is that 500?
I think it is.
Or there's some black ones in there.
Oh, there are. Is it 800? 900?
Looks like 675. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's still pretty small. 675 into 1600.
All right, Blake's got to give it up now, right?
He has not thrown it away yet. He's thinking. He's got the 3rd best hand. This is 750 is the bet, actually. So it's a little less than half pot.
So Blake's thinking about moving in, right? That's what he has to be thinking about.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you could really be thinking about this. Marty bets again after 2 callers. I mean, doesn't Marty just... This is the worst hand Marty ever has, right? Like, ever?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Marty's crazy.
I wouldn't expect him to have this hand.
No, I would never think he has this.
If Blake moves in, he's repping like 6-8, right? That's kind of what he's repping?
Yeah, or... 6-8, 9-6. That's about it, right? Pocket 6s. No, he wouldn't even move in with pocket 6s, buddy. It looks like you're getting called if you move in, right? It looks like Marty's not going to.
He did it! Oh my God!
Wow! Look, Hank.
And why is Hank in the tank? Oh, that's an awesome rhyme.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Hank in the tank.
Isn't. I was going to say Hank isn't in the tank, but now it looks like he's in the tank.
What if Hank calls and Marty folds? What an incredible spot!
This would be the greatest thing I've ever seen if that happens.
What is Hank
I
thinking?
mean, is Marty going to fold? Look at the price he's getting, but look at the hand he has. I don't know what Hank's thinking about.
Hank doesn't have the good price.
Hank doesn't have a good price. He's got a guy behind him. I don't see how he could do anything but fold here. I know he's open-ended, but he's often drawing dead or nearly dead.
And Marty is often drawing dead to a 9 coming.
Right.
You would think that Blake has mostly full houses here.
It's possible Blake can have 6s also, just good 6s, like ace-6 suited or something like that.
Maybe ace-6 of hearts, where he feels
that's pretty
very confident, you know?
Oh, Hank really doesn't like to fold. He did put a ring on that finger of the 7s, man.
Time for divorce. Call the lawyers.
He's like, you may see him as 2 7s, but to me, 114.
Nice.
I thought he was going to... He does fold.
A painful divorce. And what's Marty going to do now? Because usually Marty has a much better hand than this. He's going to be getting a great price, but how can he ever be ahead?
It seems like you're never ahead here. By some miracle, he's ahead.
He's supposed to have 2 outs and sometimes not even that.
I'm really shocked that this hand is... This is the craziest hand we've seen of all the hands, I think.
Ever, yes. So Blake, I don't know exactly what Blake was doing on the flop, but this is clearly a bluff at this point where he's repping a full house. He's doing a great job repping a full house. I believe him, and I can see the cards.
No, I believe him, too. I believe he feels like he's got to have it. Marty is not folded. It's cheap. He put in 750. It's 1,050 to win 4.2. He doesn't have to be right very often.
Look at Blake here. He's uncomfortable.
20% of the time is all Marty has to be right. He has to win the hand 20% of the time.
I think Marty should be looking at Blake here because look at how uncomfortable Blake looks.
Yeah, he's staring at him. He's sort of... he's doing it. Look at that. He's doing that like Zoolander.
Blake's trying to keep it together as best he can, but this is a tense situation.
Well, yeah, look how much money he just shoved for no actual reason. Whoa, what was that? He's just like pushed I'm ready to turn my hand over if you're calling.
Yep.
And
car goes back on the cards. Marty can't call, right? I mean, he's getting a good price, but I don't think you can call.
I don't think he can call, but Marty's thinking about calling. I know Marty takes a long time to fold sometimes, but this is an interesting spot. Marty's put in so much money. He's put in so much money, Grant. How can he just fold? Except he has a terrible hand for this spot.
Car comes off the cards again.
It's like Blake is like threatening him that I'm ready for you to call. Now that some people might see that as a tell. I don't know if it is for Blake or not. And Marty does
folds.
fold, and Blake shows the 2 4s.
Oh, that hurts so bad to Marty right there.
And Hank doesn't feel good either, I'm sure. Hank's thinking if I could have found a call, I'd have that guy down to 2 outs.
Marty could have won the biggest pot in Poker Time history if he called there.
Wow.
4s are hot tonight. I know, I was like,
wow.
I'm like, Aaron, bring that's a good bet. I folded pocket 7. I figured.
It's like Blake can't believe he folded 2 7s. He said he's 2 7s.
And I had a straight work.
I can't believe Hank had 2 7s as played getting to the turn.
I would have thought if I was in Blake's shoes that Hank had an overpair and Marty had
maybe a bad 6. Like
until he folds. I would assume he would ultimately call with a 6, even a bad 6, right?
I mean, a bad 6 isn't doing great.
No, it isn't. It isn't. But you're only 20%.
Yeah.
You know, your hand's probably just a little too strong to actually fold there. You have to be so sure Blake has it.
Yeah.
Now, you could think, well, of course he has it until you see this hand.
How can he not have it?
Right, yeah. It's reasonable to fold there, actually, until now we know that. We know something new.
That hand was just complete insanity.
That was the most bonkers.
Brain has been rewired.
That is definitely highlight hand material.
Oh, that's the highlight hand.
Yeah.
You'll be seeing that one again tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh. And you should watch it again because...
And Marty's gonna tilt here right away.
And Blake just, looking down, just calls comfortably and quickly for 125 with ace-king.
Yeah.
Doesn't 3-bet. Kind of a great time to 3-bet with the tilty Marty.
Oh, yeah.
Get it in right now. Just get it in. Don't worry about it, but...
This is an obvious tilt raise from Marty, considering the circumstance and the fact that he has 7-6.
Yeah, I could absolutely see Marty just 4-bet shoving.
Yep.
Look how much he raised to.
Yeah.
And now I know there were a bunch of limpers, but by the way, Terminator called.
Yeah.
7-5 off. Well, he did have $5 in there. In fairness to him.
Marty got called by a worse hand. It's good. Well,
nobody.
I think Marty's going to win this pot. That's my guess.
I would think no one's going to mess around. I think everyone's just going to fold.
He is going to bet. Looks like 205.
Yep. Really hard for Blake to continue here with Terminator behind him.
He has the ace of clubs in his hand for the backdoor flush draw.
That's good. I mean, are we going to call on a lot of turns? If we're not going to call on a lot of turns, we should probably fold now.
It also works conversely because we want Marty to sometimes have the nut flush draw because we usually have that beat at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, Blake does call, though, and now he's in position without Terminator in the hand, so it's going to get a little bit easier.
If Marty gives up, I guess Blake just gets to win unless Marty improves.
Yeah.
I don't know if Marty will give up, though. I wonder how deep his tilt runs.
Well, that's a pretty bad card.
Bad card for Marty.
Although if he bets again, he's often repping...
Like jacks.
Yeah, full houses.
Yeah.
He bets pretty small.
320? 315? Something like that.
Blake is pulling out chips. Marty looks very unhappy. Look at that.
It's like, I just can't win. How tilted must he be, though? I mean, I understand why he's tilted. When Blake shows him the fours after that hand.
Yeah. Blake's thinking about it.
Blake's trying to find out.
This is not real.
Blake's trying to find out how profitable he is and if it's worth continuing in the hand, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He's going to fold.
Yeah. He's like, I like having this much profit instead of less. I will fold.
And there we go. Marty's showing the value of aggression.
Going to have to show the 6-7 after Blake showed him the fours. Tit for tat.
It's funny, you know, like Blake got Marty off of top pair before and then, you know, like made a big move to get him off top pair before. Wasn't trying to get him off top pair. I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't think he thought Marty had anything last time, right? That's probably a lot of it. Because how can Marty have anything?
Because of the way he played?
Well, no, except Amon. He's supposed to be polarized and he wasn't.
Right.
That was just interesting. But that means it's hard to call that big shove when you're not polarized.
I think everybody's still talking about that hand.
I mean, how could they not be?
Right. That might be a hand that we would have done a breakdown on if it wasn't on Poker Time.
You know what? That's a good point. That's a really good point. Hank, 100% playing this hand.
Yeah, he's raising it.
Or you and me occasionally. Usually it's me and Blake on a... I'm not folding.
Aaron's going to call. We don't know what he has. He has more than 590 in front of him. We know that. We got that wrong. Hank, by the way, raised to 85.
Wow.
Under the gun.
This game is as insane as I've ever seen a 5-10 game in my life.
It's pretty nuts. I mean, a 5-10 without a mandatory straddle or anything.
Yeah, yeah. But in terms of like, Hank just 8.5 X's it, no problem.
Aaron calls with the 5-4 suited.
Aaron flops better than Hank anyway.
Yep. Hank's going to continue. It is a pretty dry board. He has a slight range advantage here. I don't think he's going to get Aaron to fold yet, though. He only bets 85.
Oh, wow. Well, there's no way Aaron's ever folding for 85 at this point. As well, he shouldn't. Blake hasn't really folded a hand in a long time. I guess he did just as the last hand with Ace-King. But besides that, if you go back to the last episode also, it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
Besides that Ace-King fold, he's actually let something go. But there it is.
That's a good card for Hank's range.
Yep.
Although Aaron does have flushes in his range.
Spades isn't great.
Is Aaron just going to turn his hand into a bluff here? It looks like.
I don't know if it's a bluff as much as just denying equity. I guess it could be a little bit of both, honestly.
A little bit of both. Although against Hank, you probably don't. And Hank calls.
Hank is like, well,
he's got a gut shot.
I will not be bluffed. Any king 10 or spade. In king 10 or jack. You're right. We'll do it.
It's another queen.
If Hank checks, this hand is going to be won by action, Aaron. He does check.
I imagine Aaron will just check and pray, right?
Yeah, hope he has the ace of spades. Turns out it's not the ace of spades.
He's got the king of diamonds, 10 of clubs, Jonathan.
Yeah, that's what he has. Grant. And action Aaron thinks he's losing, but doesn't think he can get it through Hank. He's right. I'm sure he couldn't get Hank to fold a better hand. So I like that check.
I love the way he did it, too.
He's like, I can't win.
And Hank has to show what he has done.
Thank you, guys.
Who doesn't love this guy?
Yeah.
How can you not love action Aaron?
Nice hand. I knew I was on a heater. I knew I was in a heater. You just have to play it.
Aaron is kind of the man.
Yeah.
We're going to get right back to that sweet, sweet poker time action.
So good.
Oh, man, I'm enjoying it. But before we do, we got to talk a little bit about the sponsor, Dash Digital Cash.
What is Dash Digital Cash, you may be asking? Well, that's what we're here to tell you, actually.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of this.
Yeah, that's the reason this is being
That's
talked
what
about.
this is
And
about.
that's what's on the felt. It's a cryptocurrency, and it's an awesome cryptocurrency. If you want to learn more, you got to check out the video we made. It's a pretty good video, I got to say.
I know it is.
But basically the cliff notes are, it is extremely fast and extremely cheap to send. I'm talking 1 to 4 seconds. I'm talking a penny. Anywhere in the world, any amount of dash. It's a revolution, really.
It's incredible. It has other pretty great traits as well. It's got things like private send, which allows you to send anywhere anonymously with like true cryptography behind it, which is pretty awesome. It has instant send, which not only sends things super fast, but makes it spendable instantly, which is perfect for merchant adoption like Target, Starbucks, Walmart, Amazon, things like that.
Name more brands.
I could, if I really wanted to, Whole Foods, that's Amazon.
There you go, you did it. Anyway, let's get back to poker time. Enjoy the action. All right, so Aaron finally won a hand. It's been a while for him. Got to somehow win with the 5. That was pretty cool. Let's see if he keeps playing. He said something about being on a heater.
Yep.
Joseph with a very pretty hand. Let's see how tight he is.
He is under the gun. He does not have to play this.
He's going to limp.
It's not crazy.
Somebody will probably raise for him. Well, oh, Marty's not at the table. Maybe not. Terminator might do it, though. Looks like it.
He is going to.
Queen 9 suited makes it 45.
It is a playable hand. He gets to buy the button as well, which is pretty good. Hank definitely calling. Everyone's calling, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Blake is the only one who could consider folding. And
Not anymore. Not really, once everybody calls.
we've seen Blake go like limp and then fold hands to raises. We've seen him do that.
Yeah, but this situation, look at the price he's getting.
Oh, I know. He's often usually when he's closing the action, we still see him often fold, but you're right, he did not do it this time. Usually he's folding aces though, where I think maybe he's concerned about being dominated.
Yeah.
So I mean he is dominated here as well, but I don't know, I guess it's less of a concern. Open ender for Hank.
Yeah.
Gut shot for Terminator. Pair for Blake.
Looks like Hank's going to lead out with the open ender.
Gut shot for Joseph as well. Not a gut shot for Joseph,
No.
though. Backdoor flush for Joseph. Joseph has not folded.
Oh, he's just taking his time.
He thought he had a gut shot too.
Blake has a pair. He doesn't like folding, but this is going to do it.
Yep.
Terminator with his gut shot is not going to let this happen, it looks like. He's seen Hank.
Hank just bet out, so
It said Terminator folded, but he did not. He called.
there's only 2 10s left in the deck for Terminator. I guess there's some 9s also.
Well, if Hank doesn't keep betting, this is Terminator's to win. We know he likes to float and then bet, but Hank does keep betting.
How much did he bet though?
150. It's a
150 to
smallish
350,
bet.
yeah.
But Terminator's not going away.
Interesting. I assume Terminator's going to try and take it away on the river if Hank checks to him and Terminator doesn't improve, though. I assume. Have to believe it. Well,
Hank's going to win if it goes check, check. That would be absurd.
Can't go check, check. Both these guys don't have it. Both of them have queen high. Someone has to bet
Hank
here.
checks. All right. Here
Good
it goes.
job.
Terminator's loading
You have
up.
to bet this.
Oh, he hasn't done it yet, though.
Well, he's just thinking about it. It's true Hank could have a king and just be stationing you here, but there's hearts. We only have queen high.
All right, this is going to work, right?
It has to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. There's no way Hank's
He
going to
has bet 375, and Hank's just going to fold, obviously.
Yep. It's a nice bet. Half pot?
Yep.
Or so. A little bit less, actually. Sorry, a little bit more than half pot. Just a nice solid bet for Terminator. Well, that worked out swimmingly for Terminator.
Yes, as one swims. I've never really understood that phrase, swimmingly. It just is synonymous with good. Why? Is swimming always good?
I'm sure there's a really good reason. Perhaps they're referring to the, if sperm are swimming, that's like a good thing.
It's a family show. It's a family show, Jonathan.
Just talking about sperm. Just talking about the human body. No problem.
Okay.
No problem. Just talking about bodies. Science. Science.
I'm going to leave that to Colin West.
Yeah. Check out Poker Science.
Yeah.
By the way, people. It's coming soon. Real soon.
Terminator flush with his new chips. Gonna limp in with something.
One of the weird things about this particular game is nobody's actually up or down very much, really.
Yeah, the chips have been pushed around a lot, but I mean, I think Blake is up quite a bit right now, and Joseph is up a decent amount.
How was Joseph? I don't even remember how he got up anymore.
The Jacks against Ace King with Hank.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
They got it in pre-flop.
I guess Los Digitales has 3.4K in front of him, too.
Yeah, he's up a bit. He's got an open ender here. Hank's probably not going to fold. I mean, he's got a pair.
Got a pair and a backdoor flush draw. He's not interested in going anywhere.
Joseph hasn't folded yet. And Joseph makes the call as well. Joseph probably has the strongest range here.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you.
Considering Dan has the nut low. He does have a king. It's going to be hard for Joseph to extract much value here, unless Dan keeps betting. Joseph's going to lead himself. That's interesting. What do you think about that?
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. I guess he just is concerned that the digital one's going to check it back so often, or he wants to charge all the draws.
Yeah, he might think Dan has plenty of draws in his range, which he does. He's on the button, and Hank has a ton of stuff in his range having called. Joseph might even assume that if Hank had a king, he would have raised the flop.
But look what's going to happen now. Digital Dan calls, and on the river, assuming a brick, Joseph's going to check, and then if Digital Dan bets big, what's Joseph supposed to do?
The thing is, Dan doesn't often bluff the river.
With 5 high, he might.
Unless he's against a player he really wants to stick it to. He doesn't really do it.
Let's find out. In this spot, though, he sort of is obligated to with the nut low. The way this hand's played out, too, Joseph does not have to have a huge hand. In fact, he almost never has a huge hand, right?
Yeah, Joseph could have like 10-9 of
Oh,
clubs
Dan
here.
doesn't even try. Interesting.
Got the nut low.
I don't know. A big bet might have done it. Hard to know if Joseph's going to call there or not. Really hard to
Against Dan, if Dan makes a sizable bet, I think it's probably a fold.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Joseph's mostly capped at one pair there, right? And usually not a great king, just an okay king at best.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good range to target, with,
Yeah, you're
especially
right.
when we have 5 high.
You know, I once got called by the nut low on the river in
Really?
No Limit Hold'em in a tournament.
I assume it was a mistake.
I think so. It was a very novice player, and they showed it as they called, so
Yeah.
I think they were a bit confused.
Yeah.
It was nice for me to get that.
Yeah, were you bluffing?
No.
Oh.
No.
Still nice to get called by the absolute worst possible hand.
Yeah.
Looks like Marty will have done a blind raise here to 20.
Yep.
The old
Suited.
25 suited.
It's suited. That's pretty neat.
Terminator has opened.
Terminator is
A lot
really
of
just, he's in termination mode.
Wonka's got standard, so he throws away the 10-9 off. Action Aaron says, not even for 10. Okay.
Come on, he's got to call
I
that.
assumed he was going to,
It's
especially.
it's a blind raise. Marty can't even raise, you know.
Yeah,
So-
and look at, I mean, it's not like anyone has anything. You wouldn't think anyone has anything.
Right.
He had a Terminator limp, no one else played. 10 deuce is fine for this.
if it was a straddle, you could consider folding, thinking Marty's
Right.
going to raise a bunch, but Marty doesn't have the option.
Action Aaron with the backdoor flush draw here.
Marty's got a pair of fives.
Actually, Action Aaron with 2 backdoors.
Ooh,
but
Marty has trips now.
Marty just keeps sort of making trips.
And somehow the board says the flop is ace-5-5. Doesn't matter.
Marty bets 75 into 65, and that's going to do it.
It's a little disappointing to not get paid off if you're Marty there.
It's a pretty big bet.
It is. It is.
It's hard to get paid when everyone checks through the flop and Action Aaron checks again on the turn. Usually there's not a whole lot people have. But, I mean, he wasn't going to pay no matter how much he bet, in fairness to
Yeah.
Marty.
Looks like Blake is joining. I think they might have agreed to a 20 blind raise.
Seems like it. $20 raise, yeah. 20 blinds, that would be exciting, huh?
A 20 blind raise.
Put in $200?
Yeah.
Just do it. That'd be a fun game. Or would it? Probably not.
Not as fun.
No, this is as good as it gets, people. If you don't like this, I mean, I guess you
Then
could
you
still
should. Then you should stop watching. Probably.
yeah,
if you don't
but
like
stop
this.
watching this. We'll come back next week. We'll have other stuff, other cash games.
Digital
Different
Dan.
cash game.
Put in a raise, Dan. Let's go.
Digital Dan.
Looks like he did.
I think that's 75.
Yep.
Totally reasonable.
Marty has king 8. Is that good enough for Marty?
I don't know anymore. It might. Nope.
We saw Blake call the queen 6 against Terminator for the same size raise.
This is a much more playable hand than Queen 6.
Although it is a
Digital
different
Dan.
player.
And he is dominated and just throws it away.
He is playing player-dependent poker.
Yeah. And look, he's very happy. The flop was going to be 999, but what are you going to do?
How did you?
999 ace ace.
How
That's
do you
it's
know
gonna
that?
run out.
How do you know that?
I talked to our dealer, Josh.
Oh,
He
he
let me know.
he chooses.
I mean, he chooses to let me know.
Oh, you'd think with the way players act, sometimes the dealer does choose the flop.
You know, one person who seems to think that a lot,
Who?
Phil Hellmuth,
Oh yeah, that's true.
blames the dealer a whole bunch.
Yeah,
It's like a home game.
You know what that isn't?
Android, I'm talking about, they do it.
friendly.
Classy.
Yeah.
Both those things.
All right, we got another blind raise. Wonka probably not going to play the A3 suited, although
No.
I can name at least 3 players who would under the gun.
I'm with you, bro. At least 3.
It's probably 3.
3.4.
Dan's definitely playing this. Is he limping? He's limping.
He's limping.
You just saw raising his power, Dan, last hand. You should do it. I think Hank raised.
Yep. Hank loves his middle pocket pairs. Raises. Actually, it's not even that big. I was going to say raises big, but with the blind raise and the call, this is a completely reasonable
Joseph
size.
with a very nice hand, but the raise is just too big for him.
Yep. I mean, raising to 100 it just makes these effective stacks not so big.
Yep.
And playing a hand like that is often not going to be good enough. Also, there's so many 3-bets and squeezes that happen in this game. It's pretty reasonable to just fold.
JT and, they play their own.
Blake with an unknown hand is going to make the call, and Terminator could have anything here if he calls. Dan must call.
Of course.
All right. Got a relatively big pot just from that.
Yeah.
$425 in there.
Terminator's already got a 4-to-1 stack to pot. It's the kind of thing where if he flops top pair, he should consider going.
These guys
going
are
with it.
all pretty deep, though. Well, Dan flops a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. Did Hank flop a set? I don't remember.
No.
No.
King 9 deuce. There it is.
Hank's looks like he's going to bet it. Wow.
Well, it's a vulnerable holding if he's ahead. This
Yes.
is the way to
The if
to
he's
hold
ahead
on.
part is the tough part,
But
considering that has 3 opponents and this is the flop.
Sure. I assume he's not going to put any more money in after this if he gets called.
Well, he's probably not ahead because it's a dry board.
Yeah, it's really hard for him to be ahead now. I don't think
Dan could consider overcalling with
the
this
back
hand.
doors. It is 250. These guys aren't that deep actually. Look, Hank only has 1.7k behind.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a reason
the
not
depth
to
of
do
stacks
this.
it definitely is, but Dan probably believes that Hank can have a lot of things and Terminator doesn't have to have much at all.
I mean, we're going to have to not fold on a lot of queens and jacks. then.
Right. Also, we're going to have to bluff sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not a great card for Dan.
Nope. Dan's going to have to give up now for sure.
I have to believe Terminator has the best hand here.
Yeah, he can have a 9. He doesn't have very many deuces.
He can have a king even.
Of course he can have a king, yeah.
If Hank keeps betting, I don't know. The world's upside down.
Terminator has a lot of like 9-8s, 10-9s, things like that right here.
You can't bet this, Hank.
Hank, if you bet it, it might work. But he doesn't try. That's fair. That's fair. With 2 guys calling, I think it's very reasonable. 7 on the river. Well, we know it doesn't help Hank or Dan.
All right, when
Terminator checks again.
That means Terminator doesn't have a king usually. Dan should take a shot here.
This is the time to bluff for
Terminator
sure.
pretty much always has like 9-10.
I mean, Dan looks like he has a king. For sure, he looks like he has the best hand.
He's really thinking about it. I like this thought process.
I think you don't have to bet that much. You could bet 500 into 1.2. This should just work. He's reaching. I like this, Digital Dan.
Hank is quite stationy though. Like Hank could call with 2 6s here.
Yeah, but whatever. He's just not. I mean, he's got a guy behind him too. He
bet
does bet 550. I like that sizing.
People have been folding more to Dan than to other players. I don't know if Hank falls into that camp. I know Terminator does. Terminator
doesn't-
often folds to Dan.
Hank doesn't like to fold, but he often does fold eventually,
Yeah.
right? In these kinds of spots, we haven't really seen him not fold in these spots, except
I mean,
that Blake hand, that
for
crazy
Hank,
Blake hand.
for Hank to call here, he has to put Dan on one of the gut shots. He has to have Jack 10, Queen 10, or Queen Jack.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's
you'd
the
put
only
him
way
on
you
that.
can call if you're Hank. And you have to also assume that Terminator is going to fold behind.
Right, which is a reasonable assumption.
Yeah,
in
Terminator
fairness.
usually has a 9 here.
Yeah, like I wouldn't worry if you call. I'd assume Terminator's not going to call, but I think we can't call with 2 6s. Doesn't Dan just have a king so often here?
Yes.
Like almost always, Dan has a king.
Dan
when he
even
takes this
sometimes
line.
has a set or 2 pair here.
Yeah.
He's a notorious slow player.
Yep. Yeah, he absolutely can have sets. I think this is a pretty easy fold, although it turns out Hank would be incorrect to make it this time. But he seems to be picking up on something because he has not thrown his hand away. Maybe this is not going to work.
Folding here is worth more money than calling in the long run, though.
But Hank ain't in the long run. Hank is in the present, my
That's
friend.
true. You might die at any moment.
You know,
There he goes. He lets it go. And Terminator must have a 9, right? He would have called by now with a king.
well, I think he should. I assume the best hand Terminator has is a really bad king.
He could have
right?
king 10.
I guess. Wouldn't he bet king 10 on the river if it goes check through on the turn?
Yeah, that's why I was thinking he probably doesn't have a king.
I'm saying he
does call. Wow, what does he have, I wonder? Looks like paint. He has king queen.
Oh, wow. That's the best hand he's kind of can ever have.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's
I can't believe he checked the river. What a huge check.
nicely played by Terminator.
What a huge check to get value out of the digital one.
Not only did he own the digital one, he owned us.
Yeah, I would have played it just the way Digital Dan did, and
Yeah.
I would have been owned for sure. As Dan, I would never think Terminator had a hand that good. As Terminator, he probably should be betting that normally, right? Because Dan's going to call with the king, a worse king even. But man, that worked out perfectly.
Yeah, that was great. That was really. I mean,
Wow.
We were both genuinely fooled there, right? Like I thought he was capped at a 9.
I thought he could have a really bad king and be worried about Dan having a king too.
Yeah.
I thought it was at least possible. But usually he'd bet a king on the river because Dan checked through the turn.
Well, there's the poker guys being wrong.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously we've been wrong at other times too, but we were sure. We were pretty sure we were right here.
Check out Wonka's blind raise hand.
That's pretty
Some
sweet.
people just are touched by an angel, you know.
And
that
Joseph
shows-
is one of them.
That shows about Wonka. Joseph is gonna raise it up with 8 to 85 with King 7 suited. This is way out of character for Joseph.
It is actually. Marty has him in trouble with 2 7s. Got him dominated.
And Wonka could decide to 3-bet. I think he would if it was almost anybody
It's not,
else.
But you can't against Joseph.
Joseph is so tight.
How about Joseph just deciding right now to just, skip school, cut some class,
Yeah,
do some stuff differently?
skip school. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Skip school.
Well, it's Joseph not in a great spot here. I guess he has more equity than Marty, but it's not a great spot. All the same. It's better now.
Ooh, he's flopped a flush draw, but Wonka, of course, has flopped top pair with the second best possible kicker.
Also the 2 backdoors
Yeah.
to the nuts.
I don't think this is going to get through.
No chance. Joseph's going to probably need to improve.
Looks like a big bet he's putting together here. Almost pot, I think.
Really?
Or is it just under 200, which is still pretty big.
190.
Yeah, 190.
Okay, that's a more normal size bet.
It's still pretty big. It's on the big size.
It's like 2/3 a pot, though. That's fine. It's a cash game.
Wonka is probably doing nothing but calling here, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to raise.
It's a pretty straightforward call.
He's considering, like, potentially folding against Joseph's range, I think.
There's no way.
Not that you can.
There's no way he's folding.
You can't fold, but based on how Joseph's been playing, you're like, does he even ever have ace-jack here? Is it
I
possible?
think he would bet ace-jack here. Don't you?
Would he raise to 85 with ace-jack pre-flop?
I mean, you think he'd limp with it?
I think he might limp or he might fold if it's offsuit.
I don't know why Wonka would necessarily think
Yeah.
that, though.
Well,
Joseph improves, so
And
this
Marty
might go-
would have made a set, by the way.
Oh my gosh, this is often going to go check now. You'd assume, right? Joseph now has showdown value along with his nut flush draw. He doesn't have to.
It's
bet
not
it.
really showdown value against Wonka's range, though.
Agreed, but I still think it might go check a lot. Joseph
No.
is not agreeing with me, though. He's like, we got to fold out some of that range that's beating us, my man. Also, we picked up equity, so
I
that's
actually
good.
like this quite a bit because,
Yeah.
like you said, it is in name showdown value, but it's not really showdown
agree.
value. Unless Wonka has Queen Jack of Hearts.
I mean, Wonka can have. Well, no, if he had Queen Jack of Hearts, he probably would have raised. Wonka can have other hearts. He was the blind raiser.
Yeah.
He can have all the hearts.
True.
But it's okay to bet and charge all the hearts.
Yeah.
By the way, that's good if he has all the hearts. Right.
And
We got him in-
Wonka usually has an ace. So this is a
Well,
good way.
that's not good if Wonka has an ace, right?
No, look at the size. It's good. He's trying to fold out one pair.
I guess Wonka could also have a 10 and have called once.
He could have a 10, but I think he's most likely holding here is probably an ace or hearts. And I think he doesn't usually have this good of an ace, and he's often going to fold ace 9 and worse.
I think he should
no
strongly
problem.
consider folding those
So
things. Yeah.
for those reasons, I do like this bet quite a bit from Joseph.
Yeah. Joseph, I hope he has a plan if Wonka were to raise because it's going to. I guess you just have to fold
If it-
Wonka
yeah,
raises because they're too deep.
That's just part of the deal. I mean,
Sucks.
you take one of two paths here, and I kind of like the path Joseph has taken, especially considering his image. And this is
Yeah.
a real conundrum for Wonka. Look how much of a think he's having about it.
I mean, this is a big bet, and Wonka's sort of like he's faced with the prospect, and this is underrated as the session is coming to a close. Like the profit that he's made in this game is now in the middle instead of in his stack.
Yep.
That makes it a little bit of a tougher call
I
as
think
we're
he might
down
have
to the
bought him
last
for 1,200.
20
actually.
minutes. Okay, but still, like he's giving up a bunch of his profit.
And
Joseph gets there.
And what do you think? Should he just go for all of it?
Wonka's got 1.9K.
Wonka could have a flush too.
Well, if Wonka, yeah, that's a great point. One could have aces up or a flush.
Wonka can't beat anything now, unless Joseph is just going completely bonkers. So I think he's probably not going to pay off anything sizable.
Joseph just thinking, how much? How much do we make this? Feels so good to have the nuts. And he spots in a huge pot.
Oh yeah, when you get called in the turn you really didn't want to get called,
Yeah.
and then you get the card you
And
want.
you're like, I need a king, 7, or a heart, please. Am I going to take a shot again on the river? If it doesn't come, what am I going to do? You know? And then, bam, no problem. You don't have to think.
So
about
what do
it.
you think he should do sizing wise, big or small?
I think we should go big and hope Wonka has the hearts.
I agree.
Wonka's often going to lead hearts, but just in case.
Just in case, if we want to make
gotta get
sure they
fully
get
paid
called
off.
by the aces, we think he would probably have folded his aces below ace 10 by the turn anyway, right? Which means there's probably more heart combos than ace combos.
Here's the question: is Wonka just going to check raise hearts all in anyway if we bet, no matter what we bet, or is he just going to call?
I think he's just going to call.
If we bet small though, what if we bet 800, 700?
I think he's just going to call. It's just impossible to get called by a worse hand if you're Wonka. If you have the 9 high flush there.
I don't know if Joseph has a set of aces. Is he going to fold for 700 more? Well, then you're right. I'm not sure if he actually is, but that's fair. Joseph.
I don't know if Joseph would bet a set of aces on the river, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You might just check it back.
The daycare center kids universe.
And how much did he bet here? 1.4. It's big.
Oh, so he left a little bit for Wonka in the tank, though, saying you can still have $500, buddy.
I think Wonka's supposed to fold here. This is part of the range that is strong enough to get to the river with, but not on this card. We can't call.
I also like moving in here, betting bigger, because one, we get fully paid by all the times Wonka does decide to call, but also it makes us look a little bit more bluffy. Like, we want to look as bluffy as possible in this spot, right?
Do you agree that Wonka should fold here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how often have we seen Joseph triple barrel?
It's very rare.
Bluff?
Very
as a bluff?
rare.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
I don't know if I've ever seen it either. Wonka has one pair here. I mean,
he's asking for him to show him one, which is allowed. Tough spot, but let's see how we can really call.
I think what Wonka's thinking about is that Joseph might check back a set of aces, like we said, so that means he's just got flushes for value. But
why did he go bet?
Yeah, I know. He usually just has the value, right?
Look, if this is Terminator or Action Aaron or Marty, I think you probably have to strongly consider calling and probably lean towards calling. But against Joseph,
I might even lean towards folding against those guys on this run out.
Yeah, when they bet this big on the river, you could consider it, but you could decide to hold on too.
Wonka probably thinks he's beat by King Queen or King Jack of Hearts, not King 7 of Hearts, but it's all the same at this point.
Correct. I mean, King Queen of Hearts makes perfect sense.
He lets it
he
go.
Does fold.
That's a good fold, not only in practice, but also over time. I believe that to be the right move.
Yeah.
It hurts, though. He puts in a lot of chips and just has to give it up on the river.
I mean, the question you have to ask yourself is, why is Joseph betting again when the heart comes? I can have hearts.
Absolutely.
Like, why isn't he afraid of me having hearts?
Well,
and it's either
Wonka can't really have hearts, can he?
Because he called so big on the turn.
Yeah,
you have to have a pair with it.
Just bet pot in the turn. Wonka has to have a combo draw or a pair, and usually he's going to raise the combo draws on the flop.
That's why it's the 6 of hearts only. Yeah. Actually, you're right. Actually, Wonka in theory could have the 7 of hearts also because there's no Joseph has it. But that's about it. You're right. He can't really call. Besides, even then he might fold the turn with those hands. Honestly.
So actually, in retrospect, I think I like a smaller bet from Joseph because Wonka has more aces than hearts because of that.
I don't know if Wonka's calling almost any amount that's even sort of reasonable.
550, you could get maybe 550 out of him.
Maybe. I don't know. He's going to say, really? You're going to bet ace jack for 550?
I mean, it looked like Wonka had a real think about calling there, so it might have been the right play to bet that big.
Yeah, that's why I sort of like the move in, though. It's sort of like you're just trying so hard to get him to fold. You know, that kind of a look.
Meanwhile, Action Aaron's got the ace king. Wonka's got 7s here. Digital Dan in the blind raise. I wonder if he'll call this for 40 more. Nope.
That's fine.
It is suited, but I think it's fine to fold. Well, nobody flops anything.
Wonka's got the best hand, but let's see if Action Aaron decides to try and win this one or not.
It's a pretty scary board for ace king.
It is.
And he just checks it immediately.
It's reasonable, for sure.
He picks up a little equity there.
No one really has anything, though. He's going to check again. Wonka doesn't love that jack. And Action Aaron looks like he can't wait.
He's going to win this pot.
Yeah. Action Aaron can have jacks. He can have a queen. He
can have ace jack.
He can have aces. He can have kings. He can have 2 9s. He can have all the things.
He can have king 10.
Yep. And I played it just like that.
The heater continues for Action Aaron.
That's right.
The unluckiest guy in the history of poker time.
For sure. By a lot.
Yeah.
By a lot.
If we keep doing poker time for years and years and he keeps being a regular, eventually that should even out, right?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
So the poker,
years is not
the
enough.
poker gods are real, not a myth.
No,
and they hate Aaron.
That's not it either.
Oh.
It's just you need a much bigger sample size than what years ain't gonna do it. Years of live poker, you can't even that stuff out.
I mean, you can start to. You could try.
You can try, but that's a little different. Marty with the ace 7 in the hijack, gonna open.
Hank.
Oh, sorry. He's gonna 3-bet the.
It's an open.
Oh, that's fine.
It's an open.
That's actually a much better play than I was thinking. He was just sort of doing a normal open, and it seemed like too big, and I don't know why he's doing it, but this makes more sense.
And I can't imagine Hank folding out of
No way.
And I don't think he should.
Hank has a hand he is never folding, and no one else is either.
Marty has the most uncomfortable hand out of the three of these.
Yep.
Digital Dan,
Yeah,
open ender here.
Flops best.
Nobody else has anything really.
See, if Marty's going to continue. That's not unreasonable when he has nothing, and the board is reasonably good for his range.
Yeah, some of the hands he gets called by, he's actually ahead of, like Dan's or 9-10.
Yep.
But if anybody has a queen or a jack, obviously that's not good. But it's not that frequent that somebody has a queen or a jack.
No. And, you know, the other guys could have just missed, and you get to deny their equity and win the pot, which doesn't suck. But instead, get to charge. Oh, well.
Well,
now
now
we're
Dan
losing.
Dan is in the lead, but that's not the card he wanted.
No. No, Marty could still win this pot if he decides to fire 3 barrels, but
He
it's
checks back
understandable
quickly.
not to.
Yeah. And another jack. So now Marty is going to win the pot unless Dan takes a shot at it.
Dan does not, and Marty's going to win.
Wow, that's
However
a
he plays
funny.
it.
That's a funny way to win.
Yeah. Very lucky river. Digital Dan now with the royal flush draw. Well, Marty blocks it, but only on the river.
Now, we couldn't really hear what people were saying. I'm sure somebody said 3 pair. I'm glad we didn't hear it. I had to do it for you to make you feel the pain.
You have so much anger inside you, so much bitterness.
What? Why would you take it to such a dark place, Levy?
That's where I go, man.
I'm like Kylo Ren, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're conflicted.
Yeah.
Search your feelings.
I don't want to right now. You know what happens.
I do. It's bad. It's bad. All right. Well, let's
Dangerous for you to like keep being a poker guy with
I
me
know.
when all of that potential inside me for violence.
I live for the action. I'm like the crocodile.
Oh, I see.
I live for the danger. You know, I want to swim with the stingrays. I don't care. Let them stab me. All right,
Now
Marty.
he's swimming in the sky.
All right, let's not make a thing out of that, though.
Okay. Is that what the swimming thing means?
No, it
Oh.
does not.
It's not
It's about sperm.
It's not about heaven.
Definitely about sperm.
All right, Wonka with ace-10 off. This is a pretty clear raise here.
Yeah, when BMW Blake calls, well, hello.
Good spot for the digital.
Los digital. He wants to get digital. That's what I sing whenever he's got queens. So get used to
You're
it.
just singing to the people, huh?
Yeah. You know, it's a long show.
It's a variety show.
Got a song in my heart, man. All right. He's going to 3-bet as well he should.
It's like the Richard Simmons show. You know that was a thing.
I do. Now, I can't imagine Wonka's going to continue here against the digital one's 3-betting range.
No, he will not.
think it's
I
a
imagine.
pretty straightforward
Although it
fold.
is a pretty decent price in position.
That's nice. We have ace-10 off. I think he's just going to fold.
I think suited he would call.
Yeah, I agree. But I expect him to find a fold because the digital one just doesn't have any light 3-bets in him, or very few. So few that there's just no reason to get mixed up in this spot. He's
gonna call.
Looks like he's gonna continue though. And I guess he agrees with you that the price is a little too pretty to do anything but say sure. I have a reasonable hand. I guess maybe he just feels like he's gonna be folding too many hands if he folds this hand. Like this hand's like too far up in his value to just fold to a raise. And he does have, as you said, have position and have a great price.
Well, if he decides to bluff at it, he may eventually get to win.
Well, let's see if the digital one bets though. This hand's just gonna be over.
And digital one checks, which I don't know. It's a close spot between betting and checking there.
I think it's fine to do either.
Yeah.
Wonka does not take a shot. Okay, so now the digital one feels very comfortable again. I assume.
Yeah, you meant.
Oh,
Oh, not so comfortable on that card. That's not a good card.
I think it's going to go check here a lot.
I think it should go check the majority of the time.
This is how you get value from a hand like queens when he checks again.
Although I don't know if Wonka's going to get paid off at all unless Dan improves.
That's possibly true. Looks like Wonka's just going to bet his value. He assumes he has the best hand most of the time.
This could be a balance thing as well. When Dan
Yeah.
checks twice in this spot, Wonka's always betting an ace, so he should probably bet it when he has it as well.
That's fair. That's completely reasonable. He figures it's okay if he folds. He often is going to fold when I want
And he
him
bets
to.
very small to try to allow Dan to call with his weaker
Yeah,
hands.
he's clearly targeting under pairs to the king.
Probably
here.
specifically queens is the one he's thinking about the most.
Yeah, Jacks is the other reasonable one because he blocks 10s, and you
Yeah.
don't think Dan's going to show up with 9s too often. I think it's queens and jacks.
What do you do as Dan when you're given this price? I think you can just fold anyway, but it feels crappy.
It feels really crappy. I mean, the problem is, by checking twice, we might be inducing this. So it sort of sucks to just throw away a good hand that has value.
We could have a plan here where
I think we're supposed to call.
we don't. Wonka doesn't have a king very often, right?
Not
So-
that often.
All right. So in effect, we have the nut flush draw. If we
Oh.
the nut flush draw
Yeah,
blocker.
yeah, sure.
So if another spade comes in, we can turn it into a bluff.
Here's a reason Dan maybe should consider calling too. It looks like he's going to
He's gonna let it go.
He's going to be right. But a reason to consider calling too is this may be the best hand we can really show up with here when we check it twice.
Yeah.
That's value. I guess we can have a few slow plays, but almost none, right? So that's a really good reason to call.
I know. I would love
once.
playing a set of kings like that. Checking it again.
Checking it
when,
twice
when
when the ace
Wonka's
comes?
gonna bet an ace so frequently.
If Wonka's actually going to bet an ace so frequently. I mean,
I
if,
think
if
he
Wonka
is.
has 2 jacks, he's not going to bet an ace, right?
No, but if he has a lot of his suited connector hands, he probably is.
Yeah. I agree with you there.
If and when are we going to get like a
Well, Wonka gets to win
hands or 3 hands or something? Or are you just going to say that's it?
He did have the best hand.
on the turn. Yeah. This is one of the problems with playing passively, as Dan chose to do there, is he doesn't get to win the pot on the flop like he almost certainly would have.
Oh yeah,
At the same point, it was a very reasonable check.
I agree. It's just sometimes poker just sucks, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying, I don't
Why
want
don't we just deal around one more time? Everybody deal one.
Blake's gonna bump it up. Looks like his car is messing with the RFID reader at this point. I don't know. We haven't seen his hand for a while. Oh, there it is. Ace King.
Hey.
That's a
it's
good hand.
I hope he sized it up against Marty, too.
It looks like it was pretty big. 95.
I would
It's
size
decent.
it even bigger, honestly. I would have gone like 110, I think.
It's decent
I
though.
assume I'm getting called by Marty a lot. I don't mind folding. I like to sort of isolate, fold at everybody else.
Did Digital Dan fold 2-8s
I
or
can't imagine he
call?
folded.
We didn't really see.
Can't believe.
Oh, he
There
did
you
call.
go, yeah,
Okay, that's good. Hank's got the Jack 7 suited. He's gonna get in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Action, Aaron.
Actually, announces he's on the heater and calls.
Yep.
Marty, this is a great time to squeeze. No, okay. It is a pretty great time to squeeze, even though it wouldn't have worked.
It would not have worked.
But pretty great time to squeeze.
I don't know. I don't think you should ever squeeze it if you're Marty.
That's an interesting point.
Nobody will believe you.
You got an ace blocker and everything.
Well, it's a crappy flop for Dan and a crappy flop for Blake.
Yeah, but Hank loves it.
Well,
It looks like he's going to
he should
just
he should
dunk
just,
into the world
he
here.
should probably be a little lukewarm on it instead of loving it, but he is going to
Well,
dunk it.
I don't really know how he feels. I'm just making assumptions.
225. Aaron hasn't folded yet. We don't know what he has.
Looks like he's not folding either.
He's counting out the call.
Let's put an Aaron on a hand here. What do you think? 10-9?
10-9 is a reasonable guess. Queen 10 is a reasonable guess.
Yeah, those are the two most.
8-10. Potentially Jack 10 or King Jack.
I kind of like Queen 10. I think I'm coming around
He's
to Queen
got
10. We
a
don't
set of
block it at all.
sixes. We just found out.
Oh, hey, that's a good hand.
Set of sixes. That's better than Jack 7.
He's trying to decide raise or call.
I think against Hank you're supposed to raise because he hates folding.
Yep, I like a raise here.
And he just bet into the world. He bet into everybody, and he's not even
Exactly.
the aggressor.
Figure he usually has a hand he's not going to just throw away.
I couldn't tell if that was a raise or a
I think
call.
that was a raise.
Yep, 550. Min raise. I like it.
I mean, not really a min, but it's a small raise for sure.
It's absolutely a min, but okay.
Hank made it 225.
Uh-huh. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
It's not. 2-7.
I hope everyone heard your tone of voice there. I hope
I
they
hope they
picked
did
up
too,
on it.
because I deserve pain.
We all can agree on that. And Hank,
You should tread lightly with my tendencies that we talked about earlier.
yeah, believe me, I'm aware. But like I said, I love the danger. Hank, thinking about it,
Hank's
got
not
no kicker,
folding.
but he didn't
Hank's-
fold those 2 7s before. I don't say I was going to fold top pair here.
I think you should strongly consider folding. I just don't think he's going to.
When you bet into 4 other players and the next guy up raises,
There's
top
no-
pair no kicker is usually not good.
And there's no flush draw, by the way.
Right. He is going to call though. Hank is going to be pretty short now.
He could
Actu-
win. He could win the hand in a variety of ways.
Actually, Aaron looks like he has a little over 1,000 in front of him, so I think he actually has Hank covered instead
Yeah.
of what it says there.
Right. Could come Jack 7, 9-9,
It could.
running
That's a
straight
brick.
cards.
So
and
if Hank thinks he was good on the flop, he's got to think he's still good.
well, Aaron's locked it up now.
Yep.
He was a guaranteed winner unless he folds, which I don't imagine he will ever do.
By the way, who doesn't love it when you have a set and the deuce of diamonds comes off on that board? It's
I know,
so
it's
safe.
The best feeling.
It's like, okay, that's what I'm looking for. Aaron's really staring him down, pretending to be concerned, and Hank stares back at him.
These guys are gonna go to dinner after this.
Aaron moves in.
Yep, that looks like an all-in motion,
I don't think Hank's gonna call this.
and it's for the 975 in Hank's stack, not for the 520 it says there.
I mean, Hank did just call. Maybe I don't even know. Is Hank supposed to call this?
No.
Once he calls on the flop. Not.
No.
Of course, he's supposed to fold the flop, but in this spot,
No, it's a game theory principle, of course, that you know that on subsequent streets, when aggressive actions occur, even if the board texture doesn't change, you're supposed to fold greater percentages of your hands.
Of course.
And
I
Hank-
guess you could argue Jack 7's maybe the worst hand we're ever
Yeah.
going to have, too.
And Hank does fold.
Yeah. I was just thinking like Queen 10, Aaron would continue to play this way. That's a reason to consider calling.
Not worth it, I don't think.
Thing is this, if we're going to fold to a shove on the turn, we should probably not be calling the raise on the flop, right? Save the money.
I mean, I agree that we shouldn't be calling the raise on the flop, but I also don't necessarily agree with that logic entirely.
Because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we have an entirely new data point when
Yeah.
Aaron moves in on the turn.
We just would expect he's going to move in a fair amount, right?
Yeah, but sometimes he checks back in spots like
That's
that.
true.
It does happen.
No, you're right. You're right. And there's parts of your range you have to play like this, where you call the raise and then you do check fold the turn.
Like Queen 10, for example.
Right, although you might just move in yourself with Queen 10 instead of call.
Maybe.
Do you think Aaron's can get a little squirrely? But again, based on that action, I don't know that Aaron's getting squirrely very often.
Right. And looks like Aaron actually is on a heater. He spoke it into an existence.
Hey,
Like
LeVar Ball.
LeVar Ball, yeah.
We're getting near the end of this episode, which means we're getting near the end of the session. The players know this as well.
I think this is the last hand, actually.
Oh, yeah?
It's either the last or second to last hand.
Cool. Well, hopefully we'll get one more fireworks-type hand. Whoever forget the first episode of High Stakes Poker ever when Barry Greenstein and Semi Farhad,
Oh, right.
Aces versus King on the very. Everyone was getting up to leave, and they all came back to watch. Remember
Right.
that?
That was great.
Yeah. Barry only wanted to run it once.
The Barry way.
Yep.
Nobody's got a great hand here.
Well,
Aaron
actually, Aaron
does
does.
now. He's got the pair and the flush draw.
That is a
Blake
very
has,
nice flop.
Blake has a 7. Hank has a gut shot. And it looks like Marty has bet with ace 3.
You can see Wonka's packing up his chips. This looks like this probably is going to be the last
I
hand.
guess he has a 3, Marty, that decided to bet. Seems ambitious. And Blake, I think, called. Yeah, Blake did call.
With the 7. Well, against Marty, it's not crazy. You just have all the other people behind you. Of course, that's problematic. By the way, Hank,
Oh, I
of course,
think
also called.
Aaron bet, and everybody
Oh, that
called.
makes way
That's
more
what
sense.
happened. And
Hey,
now,
Hank got there.
Hank got there, but Aaron, look how, okay, Aaron is the most unlucky
Well,
guy.
wait. He's got a lot of outs. It's not over yet.
That's true. But come on. Look at this card.
That is crazy. He went from being ahead and having the whole thing to Hank now has the nuts. How about that? Aaron's going to bet again, and you got to love this is Hank. How much did he bet? Like 300?
Looks like 325.
I think you just move in as Hank when it gets to you, no matter what everyone else does.
All right, Marty, cut your losses time.
Yeah, easy fold there.
What is Blake
Blake
doing?
can't call again. This would be crazy.
I mean, he picked up a gut shot, a bad end of a gut shot.
There's no way he's going to call this. And maybe he's just feeling like, well, Hank can have anything, and Action Hero doesn't have to have it, and I like being a hero. It worked against the Terminator that time with Queen 6.
He also made the hero shove with 4s against Marty. That
Yep.
worked.
He's had some things really work out this episode, as sort of in stark contrast to last episode, where
True.
a lot of things didn't. He plays, high variance poker, this guy.
Well, whatever aggressive action he takes here is not going to work because Hank has the nuts.
That's right. He's drawing dead to Hank, and Hank ain't folding.
Right.
And by the way, if Hank were to fold, it'd only be because a heart came or the board paired. By the way, that's all Action Aaron. So
Yep.
it's never going to work out for Blake.
this is a bad situation, Blake. Get away.
I thought he was going to fold it there. I think he's going to fold. He has to fold.
Why is he so tortured by this?
He doesn't like throwing it away, man. He likes winning pots, not losing them.
He
And he
calls.
calls.
Oh.
this
might
is,
be-
This is the greatest game ever.
And Hank just moves in right
Yeah,
away.
of course he does. Action Aaron can't fold this.
No, you
No
cannot
chance.
fold as Action Aaron.
I think that you just remove in now against, like shut Blake out in case Blake has an 8 and he's open-ended or something. Just shut him out. Like, seems pretty reasonable. Blake almost never has you, and even if he does, you got outs. But he almost never has you anyway.
I agree. But it looks like he's just going to call so far.
He's thinking about it.
And he does.
He
just calls. And now Blake has to fold, even though he's getting a good price. Like, he's so dead against these ranges.
Yeah.
Even though we know what hands they have.
It doesn't
And
matter.
that he is dead. Like, against these ranges, he's totally dead.
He's dead. He's dead. Maybe there's a chance a 7 can come and save him. There isn't, but maybe. That's what
they
we're
could
talking about.
they could have King Jack of Hearts and Ace Queen of Hearts. Maybe that could be the situation. That could be the perfect scenario.
Maybe. Maybe an 8 could come and Blake could make somehow the best hand. He could be up against 2 sets. But like this, we're talking super thin, and he's got to win. 20%
It's time
of the
to
time
extricate ourselves from the situation, Blake. I mean, we got here.
17% of the time he's got to win, I guess. Something like that. It's not good enough. I know it sucks to put all that money in and fold, but you put any more money in, it's just
I think
like you're an arsonist.
This might be the function of the last hand happening here.
Oh, yeah, knowing it's the last hand. See, Terminator's just chilling, waiting for everyone.
Being very courteous and not
Yep.
leaving the table.
What
Blake
a fun little last hand
is
here.
tortured by this decision.
He really hates folding, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This guy would do poorly in a laundry.
Ha! Because of the folding.
That's right. I'm sure that joke's been made before, but
Never.
I'm doing it.
Stapleton's done a function of that joke at least 50 times.
Well,
I'm sure.
I'm derivative. It's okay.
That's true.
Careful.
That's what she said.
I don't see how Blake can ever call here, but
Oh!
my God, he called! I was wrong again.
Well,
Look at this, and then he covers
he's
his
hiding.
eyes.
He's hiding.
He's drawing dead, but he can. I guess he could get the rest of actions Aaron's money if
what
somehow we were to hit an
crazy
8.
last hand of the night.
But Aaron's not even gonna pay him off if an 8 comes. But wow, Blake puts it in. It's a $3,000 pot right now. Wow.
I don't think Aaron's going to put any more money in the pot unless he improves.
I agree. There's nothing for Blake to bluff either. It's a dry side pot. So I think unless Aaron improves, he should check.
Look at all those chips over there on the left.
This is crazy. And it is. Oh well, it's.
It could change things, but it didn't.
It doesn't, right? But it's the kind of thing where an overpair now would get to win.
And it looks
Blake
like
checks it right
quick
back.
check back, and Hank gets to get a huge triple up at the end of the session.
Wow!
What a joy to be Hank right now. And
Hank gets
action,
all the-
Aaron.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry,
That
Aaron.
was pretty unlucky, man.
It just continues the trend
Yeah.
of the least lucky poker time player.
Hank, I think, gets back to even on the very last hand.
That was an incredible session.
Wow. Thanks for watching, because that was something else.
Oh, I'm so sad to see it go, Jonathan. That was fun.
Yeah, it was really amazing. I hope we can have cash games that remain as good. That's like a tough standard to hit, though. I mean, I think all the poker times have been great, but that was the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, we're going to try to match it next session because, of course, we'll be back next week with a new Dash Cash game.
Yep, we'll see you then.